Okay, picture this. You've just moved, you carefully forwarded your mail, updated your banking apps, but wait, did you completely forget about the IRS? Look, you're definitely not alone. But honestly, overlooking this one seemingly simple task can trigger some massive financial headaches. So, in this explainer, we're diving right into exactly how you can officially change your address with the IRS, step by step, so you don't miss any critical communications. Because here's a rather terrifying, high stakes reality for you. What if the IRS sends a legally binding levy to your old house? If they mail out an LT11 notice of intent to levy to an outdated address simply because you forgot to tell them you moved, well, that levy is still legally completely valid. No joke. They can literally begin garnishing your wages or freezing your bank account, and you might not even realize it until your paycheck suddenly comes up short. The burden of keeping this updated is entirely on you. So, to help you out, here's our roadmap for today. We're going to quickly cover understanding the need, the methods for changing your address, a step-by-step guide, common mistakes, resources and tips, and finally, a few frequently asked questions. All right, let's jump right into section 1, understanding the need and why getting this right is so absolutely crucial. Okay, so keeping your IRS records accurate, it isn't just good housekeeping, it's a legal responsibility. The IRS doesn't just magically know you've moved. Treasury regulations explicitly define your official last known address as the one listed on your most recently filed, properly processed tax return. So unless you give them a crystal clear official update, they're gonna just keep firing off legally binding documents to your old place year after year. And missing a notice isn't like missing a coupon in the junk mail. The consequences are real. Expecting a paper tax refund, it's going to the wrong house. Owe a balance, you'll just quietly rack up fees and interest in the background. In extreme cases, like we just mentioned, you're looking at valid bank levies and wage garnishments. And worst of all, if you miss that first notice, you completely blow past your 30-day window to request a collection due process hearing. That's your legal right to negotiate things like an installment plan. Just gone. Okay, section 2, methods for changing your address. Let's look at the officially approved ways to actually get this done. You basically have 4 distinct options on the table here. The absolute easiest route? Just enter your new address on your current tax return when you e-file or mail it in. The IRS updates their system automatically once it's processed. Simple, right? But if you've already filed for this year, your most rock-solid, standalone method is mailing in Form 8822. Now, if you don't have a printer, you can actually just mail a signed written letter with all your specific details. And finally, you can call the IRS directly. Though let's be real, you'll need to prepare yourself for some potentially long wait times on hold for live support. Moving on to section 3, our step-by-step guide. Let's talk execution. If you decide to go with Form 8822, here's your game plan. Step 1, download the official PDF straight from irs.gov. Step 2, fill the whole thing out. Make sure to check the box for your taxpayer type and plug in your old address, new address, and your social security number, ITIN or EIN. Step 3, sign and date it. Quick note, if you file jointly, both spouses absolutely must sign. And step 4, this is a big one, you have to physically mail it. Contrary to what a lot of folks think, Form 8822 cannot be submitted online, and you can't fax it either. You'll need to check the form's instructions to find the exact mailing address for your specific state. Now, I need you to be patient here. 4 to 6, that is the number of weeks it typically takes for the IRS to actually process a change of address request once it lands on their desk. It's not an overnight thing. So just keep that timeline in mind so you don't start panicking if you don't see an immediate update in your online account. If you decide to skip the form entirely and go with a phone call or a written letter, you need to come prepared. Before you dial that 800 number or seal the envelope, make sure you have your full legal name, your exact old and new addresses, and your taxpayer ID number ready to go. Writing a letter, it legally requires a physical signature from all filing parties. Calling them up, be prepared to run a gauntlet of identity verification questions before the agent is allowed to change a single letter in your file. All right, on to section 4, common mistakes and how to avoid them. Because assuming you've done everything right can sometimes be a really costly error. Let's clear up a massive misconception right now. A lot of people think that simply filling out a standard change of address forward with the post office automatically updates the IRS. Spoiler alert, it does not. Sure, USPS might forward some of your mail, but not all post offices will forward official government checks or sensitive IRS letters. Plus, a post office forward is temporary. An official IRS address change using your tax return or Form 8822 is a permanent, legally binding update. Here's another major trap to watch out for. Let's say tax season hits and you file for a standard extension using Form 4868 or 7004 if you're a business. Putting your shiny new address on that extension form does absolutely nothing to officially update your permanent IRS record. It is strictly a temporary form. You still have to use Form 8822 or wait to put it on your final filed tax return to get your permanent file updated. Moving into Section 5, additional resources and tips. Just a few best practices for keeping your records totally consistent across the board. First off, if you're a business owner, you can't use the standard form we talked about. You need to use Form 8822-B to change a business address. Also, this is huge. Make sure you update your employer immediately when you move so your W-2s are sent to the right place come January. Finally, if you make any address changes related to an employment tax return, keep an eye out for IRS notices 148A and 148B. They actually mail these to both your old and new addresses just to confirm the change went through. And finally, Section 6, frequently asked questions. Let's hit a few common edge cases. Life changes happen, right? So we see this question all the time. What if you filed a joint return with your spouse last year, but you're now separated and living in completely different places? How on earth does the IRS know where to send everyone's mail? Well, the answer is that both of you have to take action. Each joint taxpayer must notify the IRS of their new separate addresses individually. You definitely can't just rely on your ex's address update to somehow route your mail to you. Doing it individually is the only way to guarantee neither of you misses a crucial notice or, more importantly, a refund check. Okay, here's another scenario that always causes folks a ton of anxiety. You move late in the year, and in January, your employer hands you a W-2 that has your old address slapped right on the front. Does this mean your whole tax return is going to get rejected? Take a deep breath. It usually won't affect your filing at all. The IRS computer system matches your income data using your Social Security number, not your street address. But the golden rule here is you absolutely must write your true, current address on your actual tax return form, like your 1040. That current address on your return is what tells the IRS system to update, and it basically overrides whatever outdated info your employer printed on that W-2. So, I have to leave you with this question. Are you absolutely certain the IRS has your correct last known address on file right now? Seriously, if you've moved recently, do not leave this to chance. Take 5 minutes today, grab Form 8822, or check your last return, and protect yourself from missing a vital notice. And hey, if you found this explainer helpful, please like, share, and comment below with any questions or suggestions for what we should cover next. We absolutely love hearing from you. And just before we go, this explainer provides general information to help you understand the IRS address change process. It is not legal or tax advice, and you should consult a qualified professional or the IRS directly for specific guidance tailored to your unique financial situation. Thanks so much for tuning in, and keep learning.